It's a kickflip of awesome. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I found it at my local public library, and it's by an author who I've enjoyed works by in the past, and that is Julie Flett. And Flett is talented. She's a great writer, she's a solid illustrator, she has a unique style, and so I was excited for this one. And it is Let's Go How êkwa. As the story starts, a boy sees skateboarders going by his window every day. He hears the noise and he's excited about it. And he heads out the door and he imagines himself on a skateboard. So he slides on the path that however he can, until one day his mom gives him the skateboard she used when she was young. And now he's set to go. So he puts on a helmet and starts as so many of us did with skateboards, by sitting down on them and kneeling on them and taking those tentative skittering steps and rolling. And falling. And being disappointed when the weather doesn't allow it to happen. And eventually the boy goes to a skate park. And he's intimidated as anything. These kids in the skate park really know what they're doing. They're zooming around and doing tricks and just weaving a beautiful pattern of skateboarding brilliance in front of him. And it's too much. And so he sits on the side to watch. And some other kids about his age and experience come. And they sit there and watch and decide, let's go. And then they become part of something. They form a small skateboarding community, and they hang out and practice and have fun and go places with the boy's mom to find new skate parks across town. And occasionally they'll find other kids who are just sitting there watching. And they'll sit and watch with them a minute and tell them, how êkwa, let's go. And soon he's that boy who he watched for all that time out his window, click-clacking across the sidewalk on a skateboard. I like this a lot. Flett's a great storyteller. This wasn't the newest plot in existence, but it was told with heart and feeling and told really, really well. The tentativeness of the boy when he starts skateboarding for himself, tempering his excitement about the fact that he finally gets to do it. The thrill of going to a skate park, but then the immediate fear that there are all these people who are talented and know what they're doing, and they're doing brilliant stuff, and does he really belong with them? That feeling of imposter syndrome, even though he's been practicing. And the idea that he can find his own community there. The other kids who are watching and waiting, who aren't sure about things, and that they can all grab hands and dive in together. It was a nice, fun message. The boy and his relationship with his mom was great. She clearly still liked skateboarding enough to hang on to this skateboard all these years and to take him across town to all sorts of different skate parks. It's a great way for them to bond as well. And you can feel the boy's mom's love for him in all these little things. And her just in the artwork more than the text here, but you know, getting down on the ground and kneeling beside him to pass down the skateboard. This wasn't casually tossed over at him. It wasn't rolled across the floor. No, it's lovingly and gently given as a ticket to a whole new world for him to explore. At the end of the book, where he is doing what he had wanted to do for so long, and he's swishing by on the thing, his mom's watching. And it's not hard to imagine that she's feeling a little wistful about it, seeing her boy grow up and being so big and so strong and so confident when not very long time before he was getting on a skateboard for the first time and riding it sitting down where he wasn't too far off the ground. The other thing that was kind of cool is that Julie Flett is Cree Métis, and so she included that phrase in the book, how êkwa, and I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation, and it inevitably comes as a two-part phrase, how êkwa, let's go! And even for someone who doesn't know Cree, doesn't know what it means yet, hasn't read through to the author's note at the end of the book with the pronunciation and the translation, you know from the context that it's something sort of triumphant, something encouraging, something positive. It's an affirmation that what you're doing is going to be cool and you should go do it. And that all added to this book. And so did Flett's artwork. I talked a bit about it with the mom, but she has style to spare. Just this illustration that could be the simplest thing in the world in another author's book. Kid putting on clothes, excited, heading outside. Well, except that there's tons of texture on the leaves in the window, that there's artwork in the background behind the boy's dresser there, that he's got his jammies just draped everywhere, and that he's in the middle of getting dressed, but he's got a sock in hand while he's doing it, meaning that either he pulled that sock through the arm of his sweater while he was getting dressed, or that he got that arm through and then picked up his sock in it and then continued getting dressed. You know exactly what's going on, that this kid is so excited that he can't stop and sit down and put his socks on one at a time before he moves on. He's got to try to do it all at once. And this one illustration just drives home the whole story about this boy and his feelings about things. It's marvelous. The drawing of the skate park and the figures in motion there was absolutely incredible. It's just gorgeous. Now, the art style is on the less detailed side of things, sort of. There's the characters in the back are drawn with just broad strokes, not a lot of details on their face or clothes or anything else. But what Flett conveys is movement and grace and style. It looks like there's wind blowing through here and that they're creating it. They're creating these gusting patterns that are beautiful. And you can tell like they're all in these just skater positions, but it's very clear that they're in control and that the boy finds a kind of beauty in their movements and grace. Flett is amazing. I highly, highly recommend this. Now, with that said, I have to talk about the deal breaker. The deal breaker is simply this. I had to read the author's note at the back to learn how to pronounce how êkwa. That's it. If Flett had seen fit to put in parentheses the pronunciation of it the first time it showed up in the book, or maybe on the title page or the cover of the book, so I would have known how to pronounce it right away when reading it if I went in cold, that would have helped me out a little bit. But like this is minor complaint from a guy who knows English and knows a tiny bit of French and Japanese, and you know, would have taken his best stab at it. This is just so good, folks. And I didn't cover this yet, Flett included a lengthy note at the back to readers where she talks about her experience with her son and skateboarding, where she talks about how êkwa and what it means and the multiple meanings it can have. And she talks about a flow state, which might be getting a little bit high for the intended readers and audience of this book, but that I really, really appreciated. and talking about Cree words that roughly mean that thing. And that was really, really, really cool. It was a whole added element to this book and ways of looking at things. And I just... Julie Flett is amazing. Maybe not everything in this book is going to resound with everyone who reads it, but there's a lot to love here. I highly recommend it. Go borrow it from your public library, or honestly, if you've got a skateboarding kid in your life, go buy them a copy of this. I don't think they'll be disappointed. Now, on the off chance you do borrow it from your public library and you use your public library and you appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell your council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. And a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for watching. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back to see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.